I'm Rebecca.
And I'm Hunter, and this is
the Family Showdown! Are you ready to go on an adventure? I always think of that. What is that from The Hobbit? He's running, I'm going on an adventure. Tonight, the ultimate adventure in board gaming.
I don't know about all that.
Oh, yeah. Hope you have your top 10 lists ready.
All right, folks. So,
Adventure.
I'm going to be controversial right out the bat.
Oh, I can't wait.
Right out the bat. Because...
Right off the bat?
Right out the bat.
In the belfry? Why? What's the controversy? You guys ready?
So, here's the scoop, folks. The term adventure game is very nebulous.
Okay.
Very undefined.
Okay.
Because I went to 3 different areas of the internet universe, and everyone defined the adventure game a little bit differently.
Of course.
So here's some things, some catchwords I saw when I was doing this research.
Okay. I'm ready.
Quest.
Okay.
Leveling up.
Yes.
Advancement.
Okay.
Progression.
Okay.
Exploration.
Okay.
I think I've covered like 95% of board games with it.
Yeah, there's that. That's true.
So,
a game that goes on.
I put my personal little twist on this list because...
What's your twist?
My twist was I have to feel like I'm being adventurous.
Okay.
That's where I put the limit. There's a lot of games that Board Game Geek defines as adventure games. I personally don't feel adventurous when I'm playing.
Oh, that's completely fair. That was very broad because I looked at that category too, and it encompasses a lot of games. And some of them I could see where they would define it as adventurous, but I'm with you. Like, I didn't feel like I was going on an adventure.
Right.
So, for whatever reason. Okay. Were there any games that you just, like a category that you were just like outright, no?
Anything that pretty much has a macro view of things. I did not count. I need to feel like
I'm trying to look and see if I have anything.
See if I did this right. I want to feel like I'm a persona. I'm a person. I'm an individual person doing something.
I think all mine do that too.
So I kind of took away anything that is a kind of a macro, pulled back view of adventure.
Right.
I want to feel like I am a single person doing something.
Why can't you be married?
Well, that's its own adventure. That's a different kind of adventure. That's an adventure.
Good save.
That's an adventure that is unending and unwinning.
Oh, really? Wow, you were doing well. And then you...
So that's what I personally did. So I eliminated some games right off the bat.
Okay.
That did not feel like that to me.
Okay. I outright cut out legacy games. Because otherwise, honestly, my list probably would have been legacy games. Almost exclusively because of the adventure of the unknown. But it's just such a one-shot. And I quite frankly don't want to spoil anything.
It's hard to,
if you haven't played them.
It's hard to put legacy games on any list.
Except for legacy games, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
It's just hard. Because
they're amazing. Like, really good, but I don't want to spoil them. And yeah, there's a lot going on with that. So.
Oh, we gotta. Where's our bim bam boom? It's over here.
Okay, I was gonna say, how are we gonna choose if we don't have bim bam bum?
All right. It's actually bim bum bam.
Whatever.
I never called it.
We never call it right. You know what's funny? You guys are saying Indiana Jones. I was thinking the exact same thing. In fact, 2 games instantly came to mind when I thought about this list, and you'll probably not be surprised either, because I bet a lot of you thought of these games as well. I also wanted to wear an Indiana Jones hat tonight. I really did. What is this?
Who sees less?
Oh, jeez.
That is definitely you.
I should be legally blind, I swear.
That is definitely you. I can function without my glasses.
I could function, but
by running into walls, yeah.
Okay, I'm not quite that bad. Thank you very much, but don't ask me to read anything on the wall.
All right, let's roll.
All right.
Number 10.
You didn't pick who's going first.
Me?
You're going first? All right,
yeah. Let's go.
Do it.
All right, so Mine are kind of, like I said, I sort of said, you said a lot of it for me. Mine are, I feel like I have a sense of adventure with them, and I tried to rank mine. I didn't talk about this. I tried to rank mine on the ones that felt by how adventurous they made me feel. So when I did
that as well.
Okay, cool. So I like all of these games, but some of them had a more adventurous feel. So my number 10 is a very chaotic, adventurous feel, and that is the Tales of the Arabian Nights. This game is chaos. There's like no really linear story or anything to it, and we don't have it anymore because it kind of outstays its welcome. It's a long game, but boy, let me tell you, talk about chaotic adventure. I always think of adventure with this because you never know what you're going to get into. It feels like, you're Aladdin or Alibaba or somebody. You have no idea what you're going to be getting into next. It is just craziness. And you get all these, and you're trying to go along and accomplish stuff, but crazy, wacky things happen. And it's kind of like some of it's choose your own adventure style too. And you might think, oh, that's the logical choice. Just like those books, you pick the one choice you think, this should give me the best result. And then something chaotic happens. It's just wacky, zany, but boy, is it an adventure. I don't know. I've always enjoyed this game. I think it's crazy fun, but you got to go in there knowing that it's not linear and anything can happen. The last time we played it, I think, good grief, how many curses and bad traits did I have? I felt like I was just handling 20 different suitcases trying to juggle all the bad things that happened to me. I don't know how I was dragging in any goals at all. Oh, it was rough, but it was funny. It was just funny. Tales of the Arabian Nights.
This is more of a misadventure game.
That's not a bad label for that. Misadventures.
Right, let's see what my number 10 is.
For sure.
So let me kind of spoil my list a little bit. By saying that open world games to me got pushed down my list.
Okay.
Because they feel adventure games feel like one of the things they talk about is you have a quest, or you have a thing you're trying to accomplish. You have like an end goal.
Right.
Where open world is like you can do whatever you want. There's like no real specific goals. You can just bounce around, but it still feels adventurous, but less so to me because there's not like a focal point of what you're trying to accomplish.
Confession. Right? I checked all the open world games out to lower my list of choices.
Mine got pushed way down. So that said, my number 10 is Merchants and Marauders.
Oh, yes.
So this one is the very bottom of my list for the rule that I said you want to feel like an individual. Even though you are a captain of the ship and you're running the ship, it kind of feels like a collective of people doing things. For sure. Especially if you play the expansions where you have you have some kind of crew thing going on. You have like different levels of crew. You're hiring crew and things like that. So you have a ship full of people that you're doing things with. So it's less so. That's why it ended up number 10. Merchant Marauders is a kind of an open world pirate themed game where you can go out and chase rumors and be a merchant, or you can be a pirate and attack ships. You collect money. You can do all sorts of fun stuff. But it is very much an open world, and there's not a goal other than you gotta collect a certain amount of money. I think it's the first one to, I want to say 100 gold or something. I don't know. It's a certain amount of money you collect. It's been a long time since we played this. But it doesn't feel as adventure as some of the other games. That's why it kind of dropped down my list.
Well, you could play it very low key and kind of hide under the radar because it is open world. You usually are very adventurous because this game you can get the country's enmity, and so you're on there catch them dead or alive kind of thing. I remember one of the last plays we made of this. It was hilarious because you had almost every country's flag on your had a bounty on you, and we're trying to kill you.
I usually do a good balance of merchanting and pirating.
Not
this
that
time
game.
I went all pirate. I was attacking everybody. You could also shoehorn Dead Reckoning into the same spot.
Oh, totally.
It feels slightly less adventure-y because there's not the rumors and the questy kind of pieces to Dead Reckoning that merchants.
But there's lots of fighty bits in that.
There's fighty bits, but it's less quest-oriented and things like that.
Truth.
So there you go.
Right.
Let's move on.
Number 9.
This game, I realized, is quite the little adventure game because every time I introduce it to people, we have so much fun with it, and it's a silly little press your luck game called Ink and Gold. And I don't know what it is. I mean, you can play this the boring old, like, well, what's it going to be? You going to stay in or not or whatever. We always, like, amp it up, especially when we're, introducing it to new players. It's like, okay, you're Indiana Jones. You're going in. You're going to grab as much loot as you can and leave, but there could be more loot farther down. Oh, you just got attacked by a zombie. What are you going to do? If the zombie attacks again, you're toast. You don't get any of your loot. So what are you going to do? And everybody, some people more than others, inevitably will keep going until they bust or make it like stupid big. Like Hunter, you always like either win big or just lose horribly. There's no in between.
I like seeing how far I can go in the dungeon.
It's hilarious.
I like playing. I like running numbers in my head of what the chances of me doing 20 cards in a row. I did it.
You have done it.
I did it on live way back in the day. We did. I did a thing, and I flipped
insane.
over like 20 cards and got a stupid amount of money or something like that.
It was ridiculous.
This is way back. I don't even remember what show it was on.
Oh,
we did that on
forever.
That's a good one.
It's just fun, and it's a quick game, so you can get a little mini adventure in, and anybody can play that one. So.
Mini adventure, I like that. Mini adventure. All right, my number 9. Let's see. Said open world, so here we are. There's another one. Western Legends.
I knew this was going to be on your list.
So again, this one's pressed down a little bit because again, you don't have a specific goal in mind. You're just kind of bouncing around, doing your own thing. You're rustling cattle, or you're robbing banks, or you're going and playing poker, or you can do anything you want. It's kind of it's almost like Arabian Nights in a way that you're just kind of whatever. You're doing all kinds of weird stuff.
It is crazy.
You don't have any specific goal in mind. There's not to me, a lot of times an adventure is kind of a journey. You're going from point A to point B, and you're trying to accomplish things and progress and grow along the way. And this one is, you definitely do progress and grow. You get better equipment, you get better stuff.
Right.
But you don't really have an end goal in mind other than just scoring as many points as you can possibly score.
One thing I really like about this one, too, that kind of makes it more adventure-y feeling is as you upgrade your horses and your weapons and stuff, they become named. They have names. So it's like, reliable, is your Smith & Wesson or whatever. It's hilarious. I love the cheesy stuff
That's why I think these fit well, because you do have that sense of progression and building and growing. But again, you don't have there's not an end goal other than to score points. However, you can score points as many as you can. And that's how all these games are. So,
yeah.
Western Legends, it's open world, Western themed game where you can do pretty much anything. You can be a good guy, you can be a bad guy, you can rob people, you can be nice, you can do good things, you can go mining, you can
help herd the cattle, or you can rustle the cattle.
Right.
You can get to pick
rob
all
the train or ride the train.
That's right.
Play poker or play poker.
It's funny, before we go to, I saw somebody talking about cards or something, and we had to sleeve our cards for Ink and Gold because we've played it so much that the cards are getting worn out. And it's just one of those go-to games. So, anywho, little segue there.
All right,
next.
Number 8.
I think, is this officially our first member?
I think so. Yay, Girly Gamer! Woo! Showdown level. You are a superstar.
That's funny. I think you might be our first member.
I think so. This is so exciting. Speaking of which, I'll have to talk to you later. It was so funny. I was watching a random live feed. I just happened to see them live, and I was on the TV, so I couldn't chat or anything. But you and your wife were playing, I don't remember the name of this cheesy little world builder game, and you guys were cackling because somebody was messing something up. It was
the one where they went to New York or did something?
No, it's a little, I can't remember. It was a little world builder game, and I can't think of the name of it. It was like Derpy, or it has a weird name. It was freaking hilarious, though. Oh my gosh, I'm going to have to go hunt that down now because it was funny. So, we're back with number 8, and so it's funny because I swing from Ink and Gold, crazy, light, fun, anybody can play, to pretty much the exact opposite, monster, heavy, rah. Yes, dinkum. That's what it was. That was hilarious. Sorry, I'm like ADD tonight. The game, though, that I am talking about, super heavy, adventurous game, is Escape Plan. Okay. Now listen.
This is on my short
There's
list.
people that are going to be like, what are you talking about? That is a heavy Euro. But this game has theme. And it's one of the few games that I could say that's really heavy, but I felt tense. Like, you are a criminal and you've got all your loot like stashed away and stuff, and you want to get with your connections and you want to collect all your loot and get the heck out of the city because the police are building barricades and the walls are closing in and you have to get out. And you got to figure out which way to get out. And the cops are starting to make barricades and stuff. And there's only like 4 exits that you can get out of. And pretty soon one's shut down and then another shut down. And it's just like you feel boxed in and you got to sneak out in the nick of time with hopefully, but more than just you, hopefully with some loot too. And that's how you win. And every time, it's just like by the skin of your teeth you get through.
I don't make it out because I tried to
He
say
usually doesn't.
Pressure luck games are my bane.
It's so hilarious.
It's like I can do one more thing. I think the last time I played, I was one step.
You were right behind me.
I was one step from getting out the last exit.
It was like you just needed like a half a turn.
And if you don't get out, you don't score. So
no, it's all or nothing pretty much. Yeah. It's crazy. And so it's surprisingly tense and it's very adventurous. And I love it. It's pretty high up on my Vital Lacerda games. So I think that says something. If you're feeling adventurous, but you want a little meat to your game, this is your winner. For sure. So this was on your short list? It wasn't on your... Mm-mm. Oh my goodness, I'm shocked. I know how much you love this game.
Nope.
It's because you didn't win, huh?
Probably. Let's see, here's my last entry in open world. What is it?
Zaya.
It's
gotta be Zaya.
Last entry. All the open world games are at the bottom of my top 10. Mm-hmm. They're probably some of my favorite games. If we're going by favorites, they would be up at the top. They'd be up at the top of my list. Yep. But we're going by most adventurous. So Zaya is a space-themed open world. So we had pirate open world, we had Western open world, now we got space-themed open world. And this one to me feels the most adventurous of all those three because you actually have little goals you're going for, because that's how you actually get points, is you have to do little like achievements to score points. So you have all these small short-term goals you're doing. You build up your ship, you're building up your equipment, you're progressing, become better, you're getting superpowers, and it feels like there's an arc to the game. It feels more adventurous to me than the other two open world games, probably by far, because it does have it feels like it has almost like an achievement system. If you're playing like a video game, it has like an achievement system. You have all these like legendary goals you can do that give you a superpower, and all these kind of different quests you can do and things like that. But it really, again, you're collecting a bundle of points. There's not an end goal to the game you're trying to accomplish. So Zaya.
So much fun. I mean, it's crazy. And I like the almost video game feel of it too, because if something happens and you blow up, it's not the end of the world.
It was the end of the world.
It used to be.
But then the expansion, they fixed it where it's not the end of the world.
It's not, and it's more of a reset. And I mean, it still hurts. It stings. It sets you back a little bit, but you do get a second lease on life and get to keep going with your adventure off into space. So much fun. So much fun. It's crazy.
All right. Let's move on. I got to push lots of buttons.
Uh-oh, button pushing.
Here we go.
Number 7.
All right, number 7. So we went from being a crook to feeling more like Scooby-Doo. This one is Betrayal at House on the Hill. Talk about a wacky, crazy adventure. This one is... It really does. I get like almost Scooby-Doo vibes for it because here you are, your group of people, and you're very, very diverse people. Like there's one that's a little girl, and then there's like the old professor and like the goofy jock guy, all beefy, and so you're exploring this haunted house, and you're literally just waiting for this house to turn on you. You don't know when it's gonna happen, or what's gonna trigger it, or who's gonna trigger it, because it depends on who triggers it. Sets the tone for how the house is going to turn and who's going to be the bad guy, because one of you, usually, not always, sometimes the house itself just turns, but when it turns, usually the person that triggers it turns into the bad guy and takes whatever form it is. If it's vampires or werewolves or ghosts or who knows what. It's crazy. We had the house turn on us itself, and it was doing some crazy flooding.
There was flooding, and you had to run to the top of the building
and get out on a boat.
Yeah.
Out of the attic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just crazy. And I mean, there's some things that make the game kind of clunky, whatever. But there's also Betrayal Legacy. I haven't played that one yet, and I want to because
But we need more players.
Yeah, it's one of those things.
It doesn't play well too.
Exactly. And then there's Baldur's Gate Betrayal, which is really fun. I've played that. And they're just, it's an exciting adventure you're going through, and you're exploring the house as you go. And one of the things that adds to the tension for Betrayal is sometimes you need to really explore the house and hope that it doesn't turn, because occasionally, depending on how it turns, there's a key room that's like where your salvation to save the day is going to lie, and you may not have explored that room yet, so you have to frantically try not to die and explore more rooms as you're going, and it gets crazy. So talk about an adventure. And every time whoever plays what characters, do stupid, silly voices and Scooby-Doo references or whatever. It's a lot of fun.
It is a good one.
It's crazy.
All right, let's see what my 7 is. I have no idea. So I'm out of open world, so I don't know what's going on now. Let's see.
Yeah.
My number 7 is Ink and Gold.
Hey! You have good taste.
This is like the bare bones adventure game.
It totally is.
This is like the micro adventure game or the filler adventure game.
It is, but that's cool. I like that.
But it does really feel, you have that tension of you're going through a creepy dungeon and things are jumping out and getting you, and do you take another step deeper or do you flee in terror out of the thing? You think it's only as good as you get into it, right? If you just kind of just play it and flip cards and see what happens. But if you're really like, intense, flipping over a card and everybody freaks out. And
it's so much fun.
It's always I always enjoy it every time I play.
Right.
I never had a bad play of this game. Even if we hardly. Sometimes you have a round where you don't even instantly die and everyone just laughs and you move on to the next round and stuff like that.
What do you do? It happens.
I don't know. I like this game quite a bit, and the way I play it is even more adventurous because I either die or I get a bag full of treasure. One of the two.
Right.
It's the only way to play Ink and Gold.
Uncle Wiggly was an adventure. Even had story. You know what? As kids, I think Candyland and Uncle Wiggly would count for sure. We should do a kids list sometime for that. Okay, Kabuki, you added your own special treasures to Diamant. Diamant is the other name for Ink and Gold.
Correct.
They had different versions of it.
Yeah.
How exciting. That would be a fun game to bling out. I love it. Love it. That's greatness.
Let's move on.
All right. Number six. You guys, if you are catching up with this, if you can, definitely pull up the chat. You guys are throwing out some great names for board games and stuff that are adventure games that we're not even talking about yet. So that's pretty awesome. My number 6 is a more recent play for us. And I gotta be honest, it really felt like an adventure. And that was Return to the Dark Tower. Restoration games.
Another one on my short list.
They're like, boom, home run.
Didn't quite make my list.
This one's fun. I like the interaction with the tower and all the stuff that it does, but it really does feel like an adventure, and you do want to work as a team.
Right.
You don't want to mess around because all the bad guys come and get you fast. I could not believe how quickly things started to get bad and just everything swarming in the whole land around the first tower.
We've only played one time, but the first half, we were like, this is a joke. And all of a sudden it's like, this is getting harder. This is getting bad. This is getting really bad. This is getting horrible.
Okay, listen. This is what we need to do, and then we actually started communicating better and doing stuff. It was so much fun. But it's really neat. Restoration Games did a fantastic job. I mean, if you're lucky enough to have the original, that's cool. And I think you should check out Return to Dark Tower because they really did some fun stuff with it. I just love the way the tower itself did the puzzles where it opened up doors and chambers and certain things would come falling out those and others, and it was just really well thought out.
Yeah, it was good. It's a really good job.
I love that.
All right. What am I doing? What are we number 6? What are we talking about?
Indeed.
6?
Yeah.
All right. My number 6 is Clank Catacombs.
Yo.
Clank Catacombs. This is a pretty new addition for us. We're kind of late to the party. Well, somewhat late to the party for Clank Catacombs. But it killed Clank and Clank in space.
Really
immediately.
Did. It really did.
This one feels so much more adventurous because of the exploration aspect of it. Because in Clank and Clank in Space, there's not as much exploration. I guess there's some level of exploration in terms of you go and flip over the tokens. You don't know what tokens you're going to get when you go to certain rooms.
Right.
But with Clank Catacombs, it's you flip over a tile.
You don't know what's up.
And you're actually doing, it actually feels like a tile flipping exploration game.
Right.
And I enjoyed it quite a bit. Like I said, it killed 2 games out of our collection. And we enjoyed it so much. We played it again recently. Had a couple friends over, and we were like, "What are we gonna play?" Oh, Clank Catacombs.
You gotta play this. It's greatness.
And it was fun. I enjoy it much better than the other 2, to the point where if I have a choice, this is the one we'll play over the other 2.
Oh, it's great.
Clank Catacombs.
Woohoo! Lady's hanging out with us tonight.
She's not a very much of an adventurer.
No, she's kind of a slut. Yeah, I don't know. You put a bunny in front of her, she'd probably be pretty adventurous.
She is an old biddy.
She is an old biddy. Hey, everybody.
All right, that's it for 6, right?
It is. It's time for number 5.
Number 5.
Yeah,
Alright.
Big Kid mentioned Dungeon, the game Dungeon.
Yes, we had that for the longest time.
I played that to death when I was, I guess, a teenager, preteen. I don't know when that came out. It came out in the 80s, I want to say.
Uh-huh.
And I played it to death.
How old are you again? No, I'm just kidding.
I'm old. I played it to death. Oh my gosh, that Dungeon game. All right, what's your number? What are we on, 5 now?
Yes, we are on number 5 now. Yeah, we had you got Dungeon again for the kiddos.
Right.
And they played the crap out of it too. It was great. So my number 5 is not Dungeon. But it does have a monster. A scary monster. This is a heck of a game, and it's called Fury of Dracula. Okay, this game is intense. And talk about an adventure. I can't wait to play this again. It is so I can't imagine playing it as Dracula yet, because just playing as a regular person that has to try to find you before you sneak up and kill us, that was so intense. I mean, you felt the pressure because it's a hidden movement game, 1 versus all. And Dracula, you don't know where he is. And he could be sneaking up and, picking people off one by one. We each have our own unique abilities, so we're trying to decide, when do we want to split up? When do we want to stick together? But we also need to know that we got to try to narrow down where he's at and corner him and get him before it's too late, blah, blah, blah. Because once you get to, it was like back to your castle or something, you got this like super powered up, and it was then you're like toast. I mean, there's no help for you at that point. So you're trying to beat him there, but I mean, it's just, and it's what, 2 hours? It's a solid.
No, it's more like 3 hours.
It's a 3-hour game. It's a solid.
It's kind
game.
of variable, because if you kill Dracula early, which is unlikely, it can end earlier.
It can end earlier.
Yeah.
But again, you're tired after playing the game.
Yeah, it's pretty
because
intense.
you are so tensed up trying to figure out what's going on.
Every move you make, you're like, as a player, you're like, am I going to die?
Am I going to die?
Am I going to die this time?
Are we going to find him?
Am I going to die this time?
Do we want to find him?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. So if you haven't played that and you want some crazy tension, that's a great game.
That's a good
great
pick.
game.
That's a good one. That's a good one. That's my number 5.
What is your number 5?
I don't know. Let's look. It is Arcadia Quest.
Oh, good pick.
So
that was my 11.
you could probably cram every dungeon crawl there is into this section of the game. I picked Arcadia Quest. I didn't want to put a ton of dungeon crawls on my game on my list, because you got Descent and Arcadia Quest.
Oh, there's so many good ones.
And what else have we played? Gosh, they're all flying out of my head. But all the dungeon crawls,
Gloomhaven,
all the. I didn't want to have 4 or 5 dungeon crawlers on my list.
Right, it's so easy to do.
And this one feels the most adventure-y to me, because it is a one-shot, unless you're playing the campaign, and you have a quest, you have a goal, you're leveling up your characters, you're getting better equipment, you're doing all this sort of things. It's very adventure-y, because you have a little party of characters and stuff like that.
Right.
You could even probably shoehorn like D&D and games like that into the same slot.
Sure.
I'm putting 1,000 games into this level of the thing. This is about where a dungeon crawl would fall on my list, somewhere in the middle, because I don't know. Just dungeon crawls to me, it doesn't. I guess it depends on how you play it, but for me, it's more mechanical of like I go attack a monster, roll some dice, blah blah. It doesn't feel like there's a journey there. D&D probably is the best representation of that, because obviously you have characters and leveling up and that sort of thing. If you do a campaign, and we kind of kept legacies out of this, a campaign game would probably fit even better into this list. But
for sure,
for whatever reason, this is how I did my list. I just kind of said dungeon crawls are number 5, and Arcadia Quest was my pick for dungeon crawls.
That seriously was my 11, because they felt so adventurous, and I'm actually really happy that we had filmed that play. of Arcadia Quest because that was one of the most epic endings to a board game we'd had. Because it's just wild. It's very adventurous and a lot of fun. Good pick.
All right.
Good pick.
Let's move on. We gotta find the button. Here we go.
Number 4.
Lady's just about asleep.
Yep.
Just about asleep. All right. I think we're gonna start going to hit a bunch of crossovers here pretty soon.
Quite possibly. Number 4 might be a crossover. Because Hunter was right. I really like Clank Catacombs.
Yes.
And I felt really adventurous. And it actually was a little bit upsetting to have that conversation after we finished this game of, this may have just killed Clank and Space for us, because this is kind of what we wanted that game to feel like,
right.
The adventure of exploring it. Because the other ones, you have your path. You can see how far down you can go. You don't know with Clank Catacombs, because even if you can see it, there's some things in the game that say, pick up random tile, blah, 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 or pick up a tile with a person on it and rotate it. All of your pathing just gets messed up. And so now you've got to deal with that. And, oh, man, it is so much fun. I really love the Catacombs game, because you're also, you've got that whole sense of the Clank games, period. Any of the Clank games, it's a deck builder, but it's kind of improving.
Right.
Yeah, I've got this really cool stuff, but my armor, it's really noisy.
Right.
So it sounds like I'm banging pots and pans around. I'm not sneaking in anywhere now. So,
Right.
But it's harder to hurt me.
Right.
I love the theme with that game. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, the thing about, I know there's lots of different, not lots, there's some different maps for Clank that you can buy to mix it up, but we only had the base game of Clank. I think we may have had one expansion. I
think so.
No,
Yeah.
it was Clank and Space. We had an expansion.
Space,
But
yeah.
anyway, unless you have a different map, it gets samey because it's
Right.
the same map every time.
Right.
Every time, it's the same map every time.
Yeah.
And Clank Catacombs, you'll never.
We'll never.
I'm
have the
sure the
same-
math is astronomical. You'll never have the same map.
There
again.
you go. Something for you to do when you get bored. Calculate
It's
that.
probably
one.
in the trillions of different maps you'll create with that thing.
Talk
I don't think it's like when you shuffle a deck of cards.
Yeah.
That sequence of card will never occur again in the history of like in trillions of years. There will never
That
be that
still
same
just
order of cards ever
baffles me,
again.
because you don't think that just 52 cards would be able to do that, but that's amazing to me.
Yeah,
that blows my mind.
It's a 50 card deck. You shuffle it.
And
There will
you're
never be
gone.
that sequence of cards ever again. And it's something like the grains of sand on the friggin' planet or something.
Yeah,
different combinations of cards.
I would never have guessed that.
Anyway,
that's just wild to me.
look
That's
it up.
wild
Look it up
stuff.
sometime.
Yeah,
It's
that's a
pretty
good one.
amazing to know the sequence of a deck of cards.
And now you know that the same math applies to Clank Catacombs.
Pretty much, because you have like 30 something tiles. And,
Yep.
And even more so, you can orient them all different ways.
Yeah, you can orient them
you're
4
never
different
gonna have
directions.
the same map again.
Fair enough. I like
All right, what's my number 4? We're getting to the good ones.
it. Ooh.
My number 4 was a family favorite. Now it's collecting dust for whatever reason.
What?
And that is Fireball Island.
Oh, we need to get that out again. I have a feeling.
Fireball Island.
I have a feeling.
This is an adventure game meshed with a toy.
Absolutely.
It's like you take
In the
a solid
best way.
adventure board game and a toy and you mush them together. You can't get better than that.
Nope.
I mean, you can't get better than that.
Does not get better.
I guess you
than
can and get three games that are better than that. But Fireball Island, it's an adventure game. Basically, you're a tourist on Fireball Island. You go around taking snapshots of different locales on the island. Meanwhile, the volcanoes are erupting, spiders are attacking you, lions are leaping out of the trees and trying to get
It's
you.
a tiger.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it's a tiger.
Yeah, it is. Crouching tiger.
Yeah, the bees.
And bees stinging you and all sorts of craziness.
The
and then
snakes.
you grab as much photos and treasure as you can, and then you hightail it to the helicopter and get
That's
off
right.
the island before it
Get
explodes.
to the chopper.
Pretty much.
Actually, I think we say that every single game.
Literally, you get to
It's
the
so
chopper.
dumb. So dumb.
yeah, Fireball Island. This is pretty close. I mean, the three above it feel a little more adventure-y to me because this one, I guess, the toy factor kind of pulls it down slightly because it's I don't know, the immersion kind of goes away a little bit, maybe.
Right.
Because my top 3, for me anyway, the way I play them, they feel immersive to me. And this one, the toy factor is awesome. It's amazing.
Right.
But it kind of pulls it back. It almost makes it a little bit of a comedy adventure, right? It's a slapstick adventure.
Boy, can it be. Boy, can it be.
Fireball Island, my number 4. Where's the 3? This one?
Number 3.
Number 3.
So I want to continue this conversation.
Why?
Because it's my number 3.
Fireball Island?
Yes, it's my number 3. And, you know, it kind of reminds me of, what was that, the reboot of Jumanji.
Yeah.
You know, you got these zany characters and insane stuff's happening to them. That's Fireball Island. This is Restoration Games again. I'm telling you, they do such a good job. I absolutely love their stuff. And this one was just, well, this was one of their first ones, their first few
This
that they
was
did.
it the first? No.
Stop Thief was their first
Stop Thief was the first one.
which is another good fun game.
Yeah.
But this one was just so well done, and they kept coming out with all these expansions. And this is one game where, you know what, the more expansions the better, because it just increases.
It just gets
with
crazier and
ludicrous-
crazier.
You got this like pirate ship you want down. There's a pirate ship that like shoots things over at you, and then launching the
spiders jump at you.
Spiders
the
and
spider, you can launch the tiger from
the
way off.
tiger cracks
Launches
me up.
outside the board.
Because you remember those little frogs that you flick like their back end and
Exactly
they fly?
what it
That's
is.
what that tiger is.
Yeah.
And it is just hilarious because almost every time we have launched, this tiger is the most amazing
Goes over
tiger.
the entire mountain.
Over the volcano, across the board completely, and misses everything, which is his own hilarious thing.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's ever hit anything with that tiger, except for other players across the table.
Yeah.
So that doesn't mean it's not epic and adventurous. I'm just saying, watch out for the tigers. But yeah, this game is so much fun, and just the crazy, like you said, going through and collecting, and then you realize, oh, I'm on the wrong side of the volcano to get the last picture because someone sniped the other picture
Right.
of that type, and oh, somebody's already heading to the helicopter. Awesome. What am I gonna do here? Die in the lava and get eaten by bees. So, you know, you're just trying to escape as fast as you can with as much as you can. Hilarious game. And it's a toy, like Hunter said. Oh my god, all the toys aspects.
So
for
yeah,
these.
Neutral mentioned Eldritch Horror. I think that
Oh,
would
yeah.
be really high up on my list. We just haven't played it.
Yes, I agree.
That's one I think someone needs to teach me
Yep.
to play.
We
it,
need to put
play
that
it.
on as a listed, like, meet up people at a con and play.
Yeah,
We need to
'cause
play
I think
that.
I would enjoy that
So-
game quite a bit, but I just never had.
Right?
Is
We
it-
need to do that. For sure.
Yep, we haven't played it.
Good pick.
I
Good
think
pick.
it would be high up. What are we, number 3?
Yeah.
My number 3, we played this once on a lark.
Ooh, I like larks.
At CritCon.
Oh
Back in
my
the day.
goodness, yes! We have not had a chance to play this since. We need to.
And that is Too Many Bones.
That was so much fun.
So this one,
This is a game.
it kind of goes in with my Arcadia Quest, but this one feels more immersive because you take the role of a character and you have special abilities, and everyone has really unique, weird special abilities.
Yes.
And if you do a campaign, which I guess you have to do a scenario of some kind, it has all these weird mini games you play,
They were
flicking
so
games
fun.
and silly mini games, and it, as goofy as they are,
But they were
it
tense.
feels immersive. Like
It
it
was.
really gets you in. It builds the tension.
Like that one, we were going to get beat up by people in like an inn if we didn't win that contest because somebody was bragging or something, right? And we had to do this flicking thing. Oh my gosh. And I was like, oh my gosh, our character is going to get beat up if we don't flick this well. It was so much fun.
Those little goofy
It was
little
intense.
mini games just. If you take a step back and look, you're like, oh, that's so dumb. Flicking game on a dungeon crawly type
Oh
game.
no, but it was.
But
good.
it really ramps up the tension. And just I really enjoyed this game.
I would play this more.
It's
often,
kind of
too.
almost a lifestyle game in a way.
Yes,
So
it is.
I don't know if it'll be just one-offs. We didn't get to play it, but yeah, we played it with it was Scott Morris and Mark Street and
a whole bunch of people. It
I
was
can't
a full
remember who all
table.
played it. But
We actually shared a character.
We played. There was we played the gnome. Was it the gnome?
Yeah, a little tinker.
The Tinker
guy.
Gnome guy. Yeah, we all just
fun.
kind of sat around the table and played it it was pretty long. It was like three or 4 hours to play the scenario, but it was a blast.
I was gonna say if Scott still lived around here, we'd probably play it more
he's up
often.
in St. Louis, I think now.
Yeah,
So,
teaching.
yeah.
you.
Anyway, this game it was an awesome experience. It really felt like an adventure, especially since it was a scenario. It was like a start and finish kind of thing.
Mhm.
It was you had an end goal that you had to complete, and we won by the skin of our teeth, and
Right.
it was an awesome game. I really enjoyed it quite a bit. So
Right.
that's my number 3. Too many boats.
Woo.
Number 2.
All right, number two. I expect crossovers.
We probably have some crossover. We'll see how this goes. But this is the second game that came to mind as soon as you mentioned adventure games. Escape! The Curse of the Temple! You're like, why are you saying it like that? If you've played it, you know that voice. Because it has a recording. I think they have an app now or something, right? But ours was a tape or CD. I think it was a CD. Ours has a CD that comes
Yes,
with
it
it.
had a CD.
Has a CD.
We have the old.
We have the old one with the CD.
There's an app now that you can use.
Yeah, and so it plays and it's timed. It's what, 10 minutes? 10,
I don't
15
remember.
minutes? It's timed, okay? Yeah, thank you, Kabuki. Yeah, it came with a CD and it had 2 different tracks on it to mix it up.
Yeah.
But it's a dice
One
rolling
was
game.
less intense. It just had the gong. One just had the gongs that told you what that said
And the other one had like crazy music that got way more intense. In
Yes.
fact, we tried to play it one time with the kiddo, and it was a little too intense for them when they were smaller. So they were like, no! But you roll a bunch of dice, and as you roll them, you're unlocking things to go explore these different rooms. But your dice can kind of get locked out, and you have to rely on your partner or whoever to unlock those dice for you, or you can get completely stuck and trapped. Or you also need to get certain combinations of things to unlock other doors or to accomplish something, so you get these treasures, and you have to, when the gong sounds, you have to run back to the start because walls are closing in or things are crashing, whatever. And it makes all this crazy noise on the CD. It was really crazy and intense, and you're just rushing it. So the game always lasts the same amount of time, but whew, by the time you're done with it, you're done. You're like, I am tired.
Yes.
You're rolling dice as fast as you can.
It's
get
only
these
like
combos.
15 minutes, right?
I think it was 15.
I think the gong goes off 3 times every 5 minutes. Well, 2 times, and the
one's a little more-
last one, the dungeon closes.
Yeah,
I
and
think
it's
15 minutes.
Oh, it's crazy. So it is. It's frantic. That is the perfect word for that. It is a completely frantic game. It's fantastic.
We always joke around the house that when I really get confident in a bet, we bet a week of dishes.
That's our joke. Yes, a week of dishes.
I want to bet a week of dishes that my number 2 is your number 1.
Oh, I'm pretty sure.
And that is The Adventurers, the Temple of Chalk. You can throw any of the Adventurers games into this list. We've only played the one, so that's the only one we know. This is Indiana Jones in a box. It is when you're playing, you just hear the music going in the background when you're playing this game. So you're literally running from a boulder, going through this dangerous temple full of traps, collecting treasure, and as you get more treasure, like I said, the immersion is what moves up the list. I just imagine myself with like a bunch of a bag of gold
like,
and a goblet
and
like necklaces and a big crown, and I'm
hobbling
out of the dungeon while there's boulder just rolling behind me. So the game is it's very puzzly. It's all these traps. There's shortcuts that are more dangerous, and you have to get to the exit before the boulder either slams into you or closes the exit, and you're trapped and you die of old age, starvation, whatever you want to call it. But
I don't think it'll be old age.
As you pick up, well, there's a river in there, so you can drink water.
Well, you're not gonna last too long on that. I don't think old age is the thing unless you're already like 89.
As you pick up treasure, your movement slows. So it's a gamble. The more treasure you carry, the more points you're going to get, but the less likely you are to get out.
It's so.
And you're just frantically trying to figure out puzzles and take shortcuts and grabbing treasure meanwhile the boulder's just rolling along through the place, and you're.
Yeah,
in the background.
always hear that in the background. In fact, I believe we've had that playing while we were playing the game before. Put like Indiana Jones music or something.
We put
in the
Indiana
background.
Jones the movie on
I
in the
hate
background.
snakes. Yeah, it's so much fun.
And let me switch over. I'll go ahead and do this real quick because
Number 1.
I am confident.
You would be correct. That whole week of dishes thing. What can I say? You got me. So, Temple of Chalk. Like he said, it's all of that, but like You're running in. The first thing you do is you're running in between these walls that are slowly closing in. But in that same room are a bunch of really good clues to help you solve the puzzle that's in the next room.
Right.
Do you want to stay and get those and have a better chance of survival, but possibly get squished by this and the boulder that's also coming? 2 different ways to die.
Well, you actually get behind the boulder and then pass it up.
You can, but that's so hard to do.
And
it's very dangerous.
It is very dangerous.
Super dangerous. This is one of those games too that is an adventure, and you always end up with some stories behind it. One of my favorites, Carl, I'm throwing you under the bus because I'm pretty sure it was Carl. We were going across the bridge, and the bridge fell apart.
Yes.
Carl fell in the river.
Yes.
And I remember you were like, dude, you're going to have to let your treasures go. Because he could go fast enough to get out, even though he was stuck swimming in the river, but he had to dump like all of his treasure. But maybe one thing. I mean, he had to dump like everything. And he's like, but the treasure. And we're like, but the boulder. And we're like, do you want to live? It was a real problem. He almost died. It was exciting.
I think he did die.
Actually, he probably did. He's probably like, but my treasure.
I think he got squished.
I think he did get squished.
I think we got trapped.
Probably.
There's a lot of times where no one wins the game.
No one wins the game. That might have been ones where we just pointed and laughed. We're like, haha, you died too. So it is a really fun adventure. Love that game. Lots of stories behind it. Yes, I think it's crazy out of print.
It is crazy out of print.
So just remind us to bring it to a convention or something.
All right. My number 1 was mentioned by you. As I covered my list.
Escape Plan.
No.
Oh.
I said it would make it on my short list.
Oh, that's right, you did. You already said that one. No, you wouldn't have picked that.
Fury of Dracula is my number 1. Yes, this game is so intense. And I knew where I was because I was Dracula, and it still was crazy intense. Oh, this game is so good. I got to get this played again. We may play that during our game day coming up.
Yes.
Anyway, Fury of Dracula is just it's one of the most immersive gaming experiences I had. And I wasn't even the players because I was basically a person looking in the window, watching their discussion and how intense and trying to figure out what was going on. And
you just get
you
to
need
sit
to go
back and
here.
enjoy.
And I think he's here, but if he's there, then we're not built up enough. We need to go get more stuff. And oh my gosh, you need to go over here and do this and this.
It was so rough.
And it was an experience. It was there's when you play games, you enjoy yourself, you have fun, you laugh and enjoy it. But there's only so many games that have that experience that you could talk about for years. And
sorry, lady.
And it was just so much fun. It was a blast, and we need to get this one to the table again real soon.
For sure.
This is one of the first ones I thought of. And a lot of people were saying War of the Ring. That's a war game to me. It doesn't feel like an adventure game.
We actually had a whole conversation about that because I was like, it's not just adventure. It feels like war because the whole premise with that is bringing everybody to the path of like, guys, realize we need to fight them. It's all about the war. So if you're playing the good guy, it's adventurous.
But even then, that's just a piece of what you're doing, right? You're
piece.
Still got the whole war and defense and building up and recruiting troops and moving guys around. And if you kind of zoom in on the Fellowship, yes, it feels like an adventure game, but that's that whole macro thing. Because I wouldn't include War of the Ring. I wouldn't include Star Wars Rebellion. Games like that are kind of pulled back,
and they feel like the war, like you said.
You don't feel like you're a person. You don't feel like you're a person going on an adventure. You feel like you're like a general commanding armies.
Right.
Is what you feel like in
a different kind of adventure, right?
Yeah.
Kind of along the same lines.
But Fury of Dracula, so good. I want to play that again.
Absolutely. Oh, so Kabuki's mentioning we need to get Hunt for the Ring. It's hidden movement.
I know. I heard about it.
That sounds fun.
I saw it when I was at Madness, and I'm like, should I get that? But I haven't done enough research yet. So some of my short lists, the ones that we mentioned several, but Outer Rim was mentioned tons and tons of times. That was actually my 11th. It's the one I marked up. The only reason is because we only played it once or twice, and I don't really. I don't even feel really comfortable talking about it. I remember there's secret information, and you're moving about doing different quests and stuff, but we played it. That again. We played it a couple times when it first came out, and we haven't
touched it since we did that. Firefly, that's got some adventure element to it.
I mentioned D&D. That should be top of this list, but it really doesn't.
Do you know what I thought of that I didn't put on? but sometimes gives me a real sense of adventure, and it's kind of abstract, like not maybe the way people think about it, is the pursuit of happiness. I know that sounds weird, but
Game of
like
life. Someone
the
said,
whole like
Nicole
adventure.
said game of life.
Well, yeah, but like I mean, the whole like life as an adventure, like what are my hobbies going to be? Like, what am I gonna do? What's my career going to be?
Life is an adventure.
It is an adventure. You guys have heard me. I always call him like my fellow life adventurer. Like, I just thought that was kind of a fun game to throw on there for a thing. Do you know what else I was thinking of that started out feeling adventurous and it kind of fizzled and made me sad? Was Time Stories.
Yeah.
The first episode of Time Stories when we played that was
a blast.
so much fun. And it was
And
such an adventure.
The second one we were done.
We're like, this is getting so repetitive because it did that reset.
It was okay the first time we did it. The second time we did it, it was just we reset like 5 times, and it was just like, okay, we go here, we do this, we do this, we do this, do this,
Right.
do this, do this, and we get to the point where we
Fortune
made the
and glory,
decision,
kid.
and we make the other decision, and then we take a step forward, and then we reset again, and it's just like, I mean, literally by halfway through our second play of Time Stories, I was done with Time Stories. So
Yeah.
Fortune and Glory. Oh, I would like to play that game. It's that big, giant, massive box. I've seen it at Madness back in the day, and it was super expensive, and I almost bought it.
The
But yeah.
game. Okay. Nice. What was some of the others I was thinking of? Luxor and Quest for El Dorado. I thought about those because they gave me a little bit of an Indiana Jones vibe because
A
you're
little
going to
bit.
try to explore in there. But if you're not kind of playing that up, it can feel a little abstracted, of course. But I was thinking about those. What else? I think you mentioned all the other ones, and you guys in the chat had mentioned several that are great too. So I'm liking it. So,
All right.
yeah, if you are watching, you should definitely check out the chat. You guys always throw out some great, amazing games and different perspectives, different types of games to try. It's really fun.
All right. That is it for tonight.
Adventure! I hope that
is it
filled you with
for
enough
tonight.
adventure.
So 1 week from tonight.
What is happening?
1 week from tonight. It's almost my birthday.
It is.
It'll be the day before my birthday.
What?
1 week from tonight. And we're going to do a variety show where we talk about a variety of things. We haven't played a ton of games, so we're going to do lots of different shenanigans stuff.
Yes.
Lots of shenanigans. Not too many games to talk about. But one new game that we played for the first time, which we're going to talk about next time, which will be awesome.
Yeah.
Someone mentioned the Game Nerd still. I goofed around with it for the first couple hours. They didn't have anything I wanted, and I gave up.
Aw.
Because it's like every for 12 hours, I want to say, or 10 hours. Every hour they have a bunch of games on sale for super cheap.
Oh, I didn't know about
And
that.
until they run out. And it seems like if you're not there hitting refresh right when they update the games,
Oh, it disappears?
they're gone.
Oh,
instantly.
that's rough.
So,
Okay.
the first couple hours, there was nothing I wanted. Even though I saw them when they were sold out, like I wouldn't have bought any of those anyway. I gave up after a couple hours. So, but yeah, it's a fun little experience.
That's great. Yeah,
They
especially if
sell
you're looking
a ton of
for
games.
looking for a specific game. Keep an eye out. That's
All
pretty
right.
cool.
Shenanigans next week.
I'm
Like-
excited.
Be lots of fun stuff because again, I think we've only played a handful of games, so not much. to
Speak
talk
for
about.
yourself.
Well, you played a bunch of games.
I have board game club tomorrow, baby.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, you'll have
We'll see what happens.
Well, listen to Rebecca talk. That is it for tonight, folks. We are out of here.
Good to see you all.
Bye.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. Click subscribe to join our wonderful viewer community.
Want to be notified when we upload a new video or go live? Click on the little bell below.